WION has been closely tracking the coronavirus outbreak for weeks now. Experts say that this virus is now increasingly looking like a pandemic. It's spread to 28 countries. On Gravitas tonight, we have ground reports from across the globe for you. How is the world dealing with this creeping pandemic?
The world is on high alert. The Wuhan virus has spread to 28 countries. 4 continents have been affected. Over 20,000 people have tested positive. 427 people have died. All in mainland China except 2. The situation is catastrophic. Hong Kong reported its first death from the coronavirus. The victim was a 39-year-old man from Wuhan.
Concerning thing is that his mother is also confirmed as a coronavirus patient. She had not traveled to Wuhan. She simply contracted it by being close to him. And that's spreading fears here in Hong Kong about how this virus can spread human to human in terms of its transmission. And of course, that's firing up calls for the government to do more. You know that Hong Kong has been through a series of protests. Now the protests are taking the form of strikes by medical workers who say Hong Kong's government simply isn't doing enough to shut out this virus. They want the border to China to be sealed off completely.
There is a health emergency worldwide. The European Union has made considerable investments towards finding a vaccine. This is WION's Lucy Hoff, reporting from Brussels.
I think the key announcement in the last couple of days from the European Union has been the announcement of 10 million euros in funding from the European Commission to fund 4 different research projects related to coronavirus, how it spreads and what exactly it is. So clearly the EU is willing to make investments in this. It's also using the Civil Protection Aviation Fund, which is to help in the assistance of bringing any people back to the EU. We have, of course, had 350 people flown over the weekend from Wuhan in mainland China back to Europe and then placed into quarantine. 9 of them were Belgian citizens, and as we of course know, one of them now has tested positive.
Russia has postponed its annual investment forum in Sochi. In Russia, at least 2 people have tested positive. Both of them are Chinese citizens. The country's borders with China have been closed. All passenger trains between the 2 countries have been stopped. But halting flights completely is not an option. WION's Julia Chapman reports from Moscow.
Most flights have been halted between China and Russia, but not all of them. Aeroflot and a number of Chinese airlines are still continuing to fly between Moscow and Beijing, but only that route alone, because of course that is considered to be the most important travel route for business people coming between Russia and China. And it would be very difficult for the Russian government to stop that route, although it might be something that they are considering. We're also hearing from the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of Russia, Mikhail Mishustin, who says that any people diagnosed with the coronavirus in Russia may be deported back to their home countries.
The continent of Africa so far is safe. There are no confirmed cases, but experts say several African countries are not equipped to combat the coronavirus.
The African Union, right after the coronavirus was announced as a public health problem, it set out to put an emergency meeting with all member states and inform them that it was important for them to start putting screening points.
The world is battling an unfamiliar virus. It is highly transmissible, and that is all we know about it. Given the situation, travel restrictions and quarantines may be the best weapon in hand. Bureau Report, WION World is One.